Oi oi and welcome back to Konvert Opz, where today we're going to be converting a Black Ork from the Blood Bowl set into a 40k Ork Commando. So we got our sprue out and we're going to be cutting the git out of his confines. So once you've got your git out, we're going to have a bit of a test fit of the push fit, so then we can try and decide what gubbins we're going to put on the git to make him a commando. Now this one was a bit of a thinker. Because of the pose of his body, he's got one fist up ready to punch the bugger and the other one holding him down. So this made it a bit more difficult to try and make him unique. So we went into the bits box, the bits box, the gubbins, this is my happy place. And went about trying out a few different options. So first we tried out the sniper that we made in the red conversions video. Now this body isn't the right fit for that one. So next I tried out a big chopper. Now I had it in my head that maybe this might line up alright, but once again the pose doesn't quite fit it. Plus it's not too WYSIWYG, not that I care that much for it anyway. But without having to chop off the arms and repositioning them, it'll be too much zogging around to put on a big chopper like this. So next we tried out another conversion idea I had, which was maybe like a chain chopper sort of pole thing. His right hand could be holding a little handle, you know, as he plunges it down into the enemy, get some sort of pole. I believe the piece that I found was from the truck kit, some old gluey, spruey, long sticky bit. Now this was once again going to be too much zogging around. You know, we want this conversion to be relatively easy and quick. So zog that. So another idea is trying to make the boss knob for the commando squad. Now he usually has himself a power claw, and this could potentially work, you know, maybe he's raising his power claw up ready to punch it into the face of his enemy, or maybe even put it in the other hand and he can be holding them down with it, holding the tank, ready to crump it some more, who knows, you know. It's a possibility, but I think for this one we're going to go with another option that I have. So it came to me in a dream where I was crumping the gits. So the runt herder, he's got himself a squig, and now the pose of this one will fit perfect for that left hand, you know. It looks like he's trying to hold the little git back so it's ready to eat face, you know, and he doesn't want to let it quite off the leash yet. So this one with just a bit of hand cutting could fit in nicely. Now he is going to be hovering though, so we're going to have to do some tactical basing in order to put the squig there so it makes sense, so he's not hovering a squig. Now it was at this stage as well that I figured maybe it's a good time to test out a few heads from the bits box and get a bit of a feeling for this git. Now this is something that is just a quick sort of test fit on these things, because once you actually got the weapons on him you get more of a feel of who this git really is and what his story is, because I always like my commandos to have a name, a backstory and some real lore to them. You know, these ain't just regular gits, they've got a proper wah behind them. So one last fun conversion idea I had was this git holding a grot back. A little grot saboteur ready to be thrown in and shoot all his dacker about. Could be a fun one, maybe on the next Black Ork we'll try this one out. But another good use of the runt herder kit. So what we're going to do is we're going to get our obby saw and we're going to take off this left hand of it so he's ready to hold back the squig. Now using the obby saw we're going to make a nice good indentation to get the good knife into there, and we're going to pop that right off and go find the bit after for the bits box. Now we're going to cut off the hand from the runt herder holding back the squig. Now once again we're going to get our saw, we're going to guide it and then cut through with the knife. Now make sure you clear your area so you don't cut into anything else, but we're just going back behind the metal plate on his hand there. Now we've got the hand cut off, we're going to have a bit of a test fit with some blue tack. Put the shoulders back on the body, just push fitting together, and let's see how he lines up. Now for the squig, you know, he's got funny feet on the underside, so what we're going to do is do that tactical basing and build something out from him so that he's got something to leap off. Next we're going to actually glue it onto the body there. Now you just want to make sure you go around with a file or the knife and make sure it all lines up nicely make sure there's no odd bits sticking out. But once you're all happy with that, glue it on, and what we're going to want to do is glue on the shoulders, bring it all together, and then also glue on the squig face. Now at this stage, having those bits together, I realise, well, in his right hand, he's going to have to be doing something. So I figured maybe he's holding down this scout trooper from the Land Speeder Storm kit and getting ready to rip his face off with his squig. I've also blue tacked on a head here so you can sort of get a better idea. As I say, he's building a story now. He's bowled through, and as the missus says, he says, "Get out of my way." So he's already there to chew him up. And to extend the story out a bit more, I wanted to give the Marines something to fight back with, you know. What good is a wife, you know, they're no opposition. So I got myself one of the bayonets from the boys kit, and I figured now that's a bit too big for the handle in his hand. So what we're going to do is we're just going to cut along the line of the little sticky outy bit and make him a little Space Marine scout knife, you know, for one of these weedy little gits. Because I want to make sure that, you know, he looks like he's fighting back, you know. This ain't going to be any fun crumping, you know, if he ain't going to try. So we're going to glue that on. It took the tweezers in order to get on. It was very fiddly, this bit. But I think it's worth it for telling a better story. So now that he's all sussed there, I'm going to have to get in position him, make sure it all lines up nice and right. Luckily his left arm there is holding back the gauntlet spikes, you know. It looks like he's really trying to keep him off his face, you know, and the knife is ready to go into hand. Now in order to glue him on, since he was pre-painted, I should have strapped him, but I figured scrape off some of the paint with a knife and then I'll glue him to the base there, just as he is. Now once I've done the scraping, you know, it just took a bit more playing around to make sure I've got the body pose and everything right. This one in particular is great because he's got his foot out, so he's even trying to kick the git off, you know, he thinks he has a chance. So after a bit of fiddling, lots of glue, it took a while, but I got him stuck on there, and I even added some more on up where his foot was touching the body, and even where his hand was touching the gauntlet as well. Unfortunately, the grot with the camera went out of focus for a lot of this, but we also, because the base is raised up, the little stick thing underneath the orc's feet is raised, I glued it in from the underside to make sure everything is set in place and it's not going to move all of a sudden and ruin the sort of the diorama sort of effect of this. And as you can see there, it's raised up, yes, on that right foot of his. Now once we do the base, and that will cover up all those little gubbinsies bits. It looks like I've got a bit of the squig hair on my bloody thing there. So next we're going to work on putting this head on. Now I've used another piece from the boys kit, and this is one of those screaming heads. Now I thought that was perfect, you know, the Marine, he's looking up into the eyes of his coming death, you know. This Commando, he's burst out here with his squig, started to pin this git to the floor, he's going to scream in its face a good old wah. Now, in order to get the head on, he's got his tongue I need to cut off. And also, looking back at the footage, I would probably clip out the top knobbly bit as well. Because what we're going to have to do next is also do a bit of filling. Oi oi, Mr. Bond, we have ways of making you orc. So I've got my gloves on because I've got some epoxy stuff that I got given. Now I don't have the fiddly green stuff. What kind of orc doesn't have green stuff, you ask? Well, this one, so I've got this other stuff, and it's well stinky, stinkier than squig droppings. So what I have to do is cut a bit of this off, wear my gloves so I don't get all this stink through the oval. And it's just the same as the other green stuff, you just knead it together until you're ready to use it. And as always with these sorts of things, you end up making more than you actually need, so I've actually got a little thing here to show you what to do with some of the excess afterwards. But we're going to knead this together all nice and proper, and then we're going to put a little ball of it on the neck piece. Now I ain't got no fancy sculpting tool, so I just got my knife in, and once I pressed the head roughly into the place I wanted it, this stuff dries fast, so I went around with a knife and started shaving bits off and just filling in that neck hole there. You know, you don't want too much, just enough to really cover the gaps and make his head complete. I'm not the best sculptor, some of you gits will do it far better than me, but as long as it does the job, I'm well happy with that. So to use up the rest of the epoxy stuff that I had, or if you're using green stuff, I thought I'd make a couple of backpack sort of molds with that. So just using the leftover bits, cut it into two, and then made it into a rough backpack shape. And because these are usually fabric, it doesn't matter that they're They're a bit weird, a bit chunky. Once you stuck some gubbins on them, they'll be fine. Now, he wouldn't be a commando without all the gubbins on his back, would he? So this boy needed himself a shooter, so we made him one with a red conversion, a fast conversion, and so you can check that out on the channel, how to make one of these shooters. Now, he can't just have it stuck to his back, you know, he didn't have the mag locks like them Space Marines. So we got ourselves some of this twine, and we're going to wrap it around the front of the barrel with a bit of super glue, and we're going to make it so he's got something to hold it onto his shoulders, you know, make it a bit more practical like. So with a bit of glue we wound that round, and don't worry about gluing it too much at this stage, you want to leave it a bit flexible, and we're just going to sort of line that up and figure out how we want to push this through. So we decided on a rough sort of length to have the strap on it, and so we put that through, and we're going to thread it above this foot here, or just to the side of it anyway. So once we tighten that up, you know, it's going to stick to the back of him, and we're going to loop it around that one shoulder plate, you know, on his right side there. Now the cool thing here is that the Space Marine's foot is up against the strap, so it looks like in the struggle to escape he's pushing it away. Now what we're going to do next is actually glue the shooter to his back now, so then it's going to stick in place whilst we're finishing off the rest of the strap work. Now finishing off the other side of the strap, we just wrapped it around the end of the rifle butt there, and then we glued it on and clipped off the rest of it. So here it is looking at it, so he's got that wrapped around his shoulder there, it looks good and proper, you know, he's all fixed on, and as I say, the Space Marine is trying to almost kick it off his back as well. So we're going to add on some couple other gubbins bits, you know, some of those cigar packs and things like that, just to fill in some of those extra little gaps that we have. We don't need too much more, we've already got a lot going on in the front of the model. Here he is with all the gubbins bits glued onto him there. So next we're going to work on some tactical basing. I've got myself a stick from the beach that's nicely dried out, and we're going to use that as a nice little natural stand for that squig. Now when you have this kit in your bits box, you may notice the squig's got a really weird sort of flat bit underneath his feet, so yeah, we want to cover that up as much as possible. Now when trying to break down the stick, if we can break it by hand or rough it up with a knife to shorten it, it just makes it a bit more realistic for it. So it's just long enough to go underneath them, and this bit I spent a very long time trying to get this bloody piece stuck. So what I found was I had to glue some rocks underneath it first in order to keep it propped up, and I put so much damn super glue on this thing. My fingers got stuck to it so many times, and I think my hand was half glue by the time I finished it. And there will be quite a bit of cleanup when it comes to painting around the bottom of the base here, but we just added in some more sandstone to fill in those little gaps so you can't really see what's gone on with his feet and stuff. It all looks quite terrible at the moment around the base with so much of that super glue, but needs must, you know, like with the rope and sticks and stuff like that, you've got to coat them in super glue so then they'll seal and paint proper. But look at this kit, isn't he mighty? He just burst through your battle lines, pinned your mate to the ground, and now he's going to eat your face along with his squig. So we really hope that you've enjoyed this Konvert Opz and checking out this Blood Bowl Mini. You know, I look forward to doing another one of these Black Orks. He's good fun, he's a good laugh, you know, and he's proper krumpy. So if you've enjoyed this, then please like, leave a comment, tell us what one we should be converting next, and join the Immortal Sons. Whoa!